Welcome back to the second episode of our captivating story. If you missed the first part, be sure to click the link in the description below or the pop-up link above to catch up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share this video, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Enjoy the story.
One morning, while Chinedu and the baby were still sleeping, Ngozi woke up, packed her bags, and left to be with Yakubu. By the time Chinedu woke up, she was long gone. After waiting for her for days, he had to accept his reality and face his child. He went to the restaurant he opened for her to check, but when he got there, he was told Ngozi had sold the place to another person. He couldn't fight it because he had opened the restaurant in her name and had no claim to make. He went back to mourn his losses, finding comfort only in his son. Life as Yakubu's wife was good for Ngozi. She had everything she needed. Yakubu was still very loving and generous to her, and as a bonus, his children were also nice to her. They made her feel no regret about marrying their father and respected her as a stepmother. However, even though Yakubu was loving towards Ngozi, he had some peculiar preferences. He refused to allow anyone to live in the house with them as domestic staff and preferred Ngozi to make all his meals herself. He had a chronic illness and had been given only 12 months to live by the doctors, but he kept this from Ngozi and told her he was on a special diet and supplements because of his age. His children wanted him to pay more attention to his health, so Ngozi didn't think much of it. Gradually, they stopped going out and were always indoors. Ngozi would cook Yakubu's special meals and do all the house chores. She still had to attend to his needs in bed, no matter how tired she was. One night, the unexpected happened. Yakubu had gotten overly excited and wouldn't let Ngozi sleep. Ngozi couldn't deny him and allowed him to do the work himself. In the course of the action, Yakubu's heartbeat increased and he lost control. Before he could regain control, he had a heart attack and rolled sideways, breathing hard. Ngozi was confused and didn't know what to do. She thought he was just tired, but before she knew it, Yakubu stopped breathing. She was shocked and called his children immediately, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. Yakubu had died. His children were cold towards Ngozi, asking her what happened to their father. She couldn't talk and was in tears. "You better start talking now, crying won't help you," one of the children yelled at her. Ngozi got a grip on herself and explained, "We were together when he suddenly had a heart attack." "You were together doing what? Can't you talk properly?" Another one barked at her. "We were on the bed. I told him no, that I was tired, but he insisted, and so I allowed him to do the work. It was in the process that he fell," Ngozi explained. "You were on the bed. You have used your high mileage to kill our father. Which work did you send him to do?" "We should have known," another one quickly added. "So you planned to kill him, right?" "We should have known better. You came into his life to kill him," But what for? Why did you kill him? We all loved you, he also loved you. Ngozi was still shocked from Yakubu's sudden death, but now his children were accusing her. She was too devastated to defend herself and could only cry and wish things had turned out differently. But the next thing she heard gave her a heart attack. You cannot kill our father and go scot-free. You must pay for it. You will have to confess who sent you to do it. The police are on their way already for you. At that point, Ngozi knew she was in hot soup. She fell on the floor and started to cry bitterly. Please, I did not kill him. I am innocent. Please don't do this to me. I am telling the truth, Ngozi cried and begged, but they refused to reconsider, and soon the police came and bundled her away. What Ngozi didn't know was that Yakubu's children had planned to find a way to get rid of her from the family immediately after their father died so she wouldn't have a chance to take any of his properties. They would lock her up to scare her so that even when she got released, she would run far away from them and wouldn't come back to drag anything. Everything went according to their plan, and when she had stayed in police custody for 2 weeks, Ngozi knew Yakubu's children were serious. She had to plead and emptied all her accounts to bail herself out. Finally out of the cell, the first thing that came out of her was tears of regret. How stupid she had been to leave her family for an old man she didn't know too well. What if his children had pressed on with accusing her of murder? How would she have explained when there was no evidence? She would have been sentenced to rot in jail over her stupidity. Those rich women she usually hung out with, but they all rejected her one by one. Ngozi was at her lowest at this point and decided to return to her old house to start her life afresh. She also started to sell her amla again, but this time was different. People knew about her past and would mock her and talk about her to her face. She could not bear the shame anymore and decided to leave the village. She went to a popular town not too far from the village and decided to look for a job. For months, she moved from one job to another, hoping to get a better one, but all the jobs were the same. She was paid peanuts and worked to the bone. Then, one day, while job hunting as usual, she saw a signpost in front of a furniture showroom for the position of a salesgirl. She immediately went in and met a young lady, expressing her interest in the job. The lady interviewed her, and fortunately for Ngozi, she was given the job, which came with a good salary. Ngozi was so glad and relieved as this meant she could finally rent a small room and stop sleeping in the deserted uncompleted building she usually shared with other homeless people at night. She was finalizing the arrangements with the young lady when a man came in with a toddler in his arms. Ngozi turned to greet him but froze in shock as she saw that it was Chinedu and her son. The young lady did not suspect anything and told Chinedu, "My husband, this lady here came to apply for the salesgirl position and she got it. She's good and will be resuming tomorrow." Chinedu was amused and went on to hug his wife, who carried the toddler from him. "Oh, that's great, so Ngozi, we'll be expecting to see you tomorrow," Chinedu said while smiling. His wife was surprised and asked, "Do you know her? You called her name now." Chinedu nodded and told her, "This is Ngozi, my former wife, the same one I told you about who turned me into a house husband and abandoned me with our son." As Chinedu said those words, Ngozi could feel shame wrap itself around her, and she prayed to vanish into thin air. Chinedu's new wife was shocked too. She had always wondered who the woman was who did that evil to Chinedu, but seeing Ngozi now, she only felt pity for her. Life must have served her some hot soup. Ngozi subconsciously fell to her knees and started to beg, "Please Chinedu, I am sorry. Please forgive me." Chinedu pulled her up immediately. "Please stop this. This is an open space, don't embarrass yourself. I don't have anything against you anymore. I am in a better place now, and my son has a loving mother who loves him so much." Ngozi nodded in shame and begged to carry the little boy. Chinedu permitted her, but as she stretched out her hand to reach for him, the little boy turned away and started to cry. Ngozi's heart broke as the reality hit her. The little boy did not know her. He had no memory of her, and so she was a stranger to him. It was awkward for everyone there, and Ngozi had to quietly leave the place as hot tears streamed down her cheeks. Apparently, when she left Chinedu, he could not continue wallowing in his pain and would strap his baby on his back to his workshop. On one of those days, he was working at his workshop when a man came with a huge contract for him. After the contract, he decided to go to the city to set up a modern furniture place with the money he was paid. The lady he married was his secretary who was loyal to him when he just started. Ngozi could not bear the kind of shame she felt again and left the city, never to return. She knew deep down that Chinedu and his new wife would be great parents to her son, more than she could ever be.